Windows 10. Windows 10 operate across a wide range of devices, including desktop computers, laptops, tablets, and other touch-enabled devices and phones. To optimize your user experience, you can choose between several Windows 10 editions, each of which has slightly different features. Now first, what is Windows 10? Windows 10 is actually an operating system. It is an operating system which we can use to operate any computer. Without any operating system, your computers are just like a hardware device. It is not used. This operating systems gives ability to use these hardware devices, like whatever the hardware, these electronic computers we have. So for using those computers, we need an operating system. It's a system software. It is also a software, but it is a system software for using our computer. We can say like it's a soul of your hardware. It is this operating system's job is to manage your hardware and storage and resources, and make use of those resources and hardware according to you what you want. Because directly we can't understand the machine language, and machine can't understand our language. So we have these operating systems in between who converts our input into machine language and do the work and make that hardware work and give the output to our understandable language. We have different operating systems, we have different vendors operating systems, we have Unix, we have Linux, and we have Windows. Windows is from Microsoft. So Microsoft has made this Windows, and they have started from very old. So it was started from DOS, diskless operating system, and MS-DOS. It was called MS-DOS, which is Microsoft DOS. Then now, after upgrading, it get upgraded, and it reached till here. It reached till this Windows 10. It was Windows 94, 95, 98, then Windows NT, Windows 2000, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. Now if you have seen previous versions of Windows, then you will see a lots of difference here in Windows 10. If suppose you have seen Windows XP or Windows 7, then it will be very much different from there. But if you have seen Windows 8, then you will not see much different. You will see not much different with Windows 8 and Windows 10. But if you are coming from Windows 7 or XP, you will see a lots of difference. So now, what is new in Windows 10? What is new? Now Windows 10 offers many improvements over Windows 7 and numerous important enhancement and functional improvements over Windows 8.1 also. So you can install and run it on variety of hardware platforms, ranging from traditional desktop and laptop computers to tablets, phones, and other devices such as the Xbox gaming and entertainment systems also. Now the differences that you see in Windows 10 depends on operating system from which you are transitioning. Like I said, if you are using Windows 7 previously, so Windows 10 is radically different in functionality, look, and feel. But if you are using Windows 8 or Windows 8.1 currently, then you will notice more pronounced changed in Windows 10. Minor changes we can say. But it is still having some more improvement than Windows 8.1, 8 or 8.1. Now what are these new things and new features in Windows 8 we have? First, sign-in improvement. We have an improvement in sign-in, like how you logged into your system. We have multiple differences. We have improvement in that. Like we have Windows Hello. We can use Windows Hello to use a physical sign-in like fingerprint and face scanning and all that. Then we have improved start menu, we have improved start menu. It is different than Windows 8. Actually, when after Windows 7, suddenly when they made Windows 8, Microsoft made Windows 8, it was lots of different there. It is completely different. It is actually made it for the touch devices. So Windows 8 start menu looks like more look like a mobile or tablet device. So in Windows 8, when you if you have seen Windows 8, if you click on a start menu, it will open it like a touch screen window of tablet or mobile devices, where you see the tiles only. Now, since too many years, people are using Windows and people are using normal start menu. They have not used to with this, so they have not liked it. The preview was not that review was not good. So in Windows 10 they have improved the start menu. Now it looks like the start menu looks like a Windows 7 or Windows XP start menu, but it is an improved version. It does not look like a tablet or a mobile mode. But if we like, then we can switch between tablet and desktop mode. So people don't like it when they are using on it on the desktop. They don't like to use it as a tablet. It looks like tablet. You are having a touch screen. You can touch it to move your screen and touch any tiles to open it. But in desktop you can't do that. In desktop mostly we don't have touch screens. So it does. The people don't like that kind of start menu. So now the start menu is improved and it is changed. It looks like it is different. It looks like this. Now when you have the touches, the tiles also, and also you have like this start menu like the Windows 7. Now you have other thing, which is Cortana. This is also a new thing. It is Cortana. Cortana is your assistant. It is your voice assistant, where you can use like in Apple devices you have Siri. Just like this, in Microsoft they have improved this Cortana, where you can use to search and control your device by your voice. You can use this Cortana. It is just like Siri in Apple devices. Then you have Continue. This new feature enables you to switch between desktop mode and tablet mode. As I said previously, it was look like Windows 8 was looking like a tablet mode. It always be on the tablet mode. It does not look like a desktop. So whenever you press start menu, it will open like a tablet. So now we have an option to switch between tablet and desktop mode. Tablet and desktop mode, that means if you like to use it, if you are using Windows 10 on tablet, then you can switch it into the tablet mode, where you can have a touch screen and you can use your touch screen to move and select the different softwares and different applications. And if you are using it on the desktop, then you can go for the normal desktop mode. Then you have option to choose multiple desktops. This one enables you to choose to have multiple desktops, where you can work on one desktop and then you can work another thing on another desktop. This is for the multitasking thing. It makes multitasking easy, like you can work on without switching the user. Remember, you are not switching the user, you are just switching the desktop. So you can close without closing or without switching the user. You can open another desktop, another screen we can say, and you can open another applications on that another desktops. So you can have multiple desktops here. Then you have task switcher. Task switcher is also improved, where you can switch from one task to other task easily. Then taskbar improvement. There is an improvement on taskbar also. There is lots of improvement there. Then Snap Assistant is also new. Snap Assistant, that means currently you can work on in previous versions, if you have seen in Windows 8 or 8.1 or even Windows 7, you have option to work simultaneously on two windows. Like you drag the window on side one side, it will be in the side, and then you can drag another window on another side, and you can work simultaneously on both the windows, both the screens, both the windows, or we can say both the applications. So in Windows 8 it supports two simultaneously applications you can work, but in Windows 10 we have option to use 4. That means it has improved Snap Assistant, where we can use 4 different applications in 4 different corners of the screen. I will show you that when we see and when we install the Windows 10. Then we have Action Center. Action Center is also have an improvement. Then we have Universal Windows Platform apps. Now, previously when we have Windows 8, so some of the applications which is on desktop applications is not available on mobile platform, and mobile platform applications not available on desktop version. So suppose some of the applications which you are using on the desktop, it is different than the application you are using on your tablet or mobile devices. Now we have this UWP apps, which is actually same app. We can use it on Windows desktop also and Windows tablet and mobile also. So without any much changes, like we don't have to change anything, the same application it is also used on Windows desktop machines, and also you can use it on Windows mobile and tablet applications. That is called Windows Universal Windows Platform apps. So these Windows Universal Platform apps are also available now in Windows 10. Then we have updated Microsoft Edge, which is the proprietary browser of Windows. And also now we have consolidated settings. Consolidated settings, that means previously also in Windows, since Windows XP, Windows 7, we are very much used to do the settings from control panel. So control panel is the sole option where we can do the settings, we can do changes, the configuration settings of our Windows. Now they have after Windows 8 they have introduced the setting app where we can do some settings of our system. Now since in Windows 8 we have not able to do everything from lots of things from this Windows setting app. Windows setting app has a limited option. That means you go to Windows setting, you want to change something, then it will take you to the control panel. When you click the link, it will open the control panel again. Now we have consolidated setting here. That means most of the thing which we can do, which we want to do, we can do it from Windows setting app. We don't have to go to control panel to do lots of settings. So these are the new things and new features and functionality we have in Windows 10 from Windows 8. Remember, it is comparing from Windows 8. Now if you are comparing from Windows 7 or XP, it is completely different. And then we have also multiple update source also. That means we can update it from local network also, from other devices. Now Windows 10 additions. In Windows 10 we have these different type of additions available. First addition is Windows 10 Home. This Windows 10 Home we use for home use or individual, and availability is for everybody. It is available for everybody and everybody can use it. Then Windows 10 Pro, this is the next addition. This is for organizations and advanced users. This is having some more feature than Windows Home Edition. Home Edition is only for the home user, which is using for individual purpose, and is available for everybody. Now Windows Pro gives you some more advanced features. This is for advanced users, and this is what we can use for small organizations also, and still it is available for everybody. Now Windows 10 Enterprise. Now this one is for the enterprise users. This is for large enterprises. Large enterprises, that means if you are having a large organization, large company, and you want to use Windows 10 as a client, then you can use this Windows 10 Enterprise. It will give you more features than Home and Pro editions. More enterprise features which is very much important for enterprise use. Enterprise use, there is lots of different things we have. We will see the difference between these editions also. Now this enterprise feature, this Windows 10 Enterprise Edition, only available to volume licensing customers. This is not available for normal standard or everybody. Now what do you mean by everybody and this volume licensing? Everybody is, that means you can purchase it from Microsoft site, you can purchase it from the retailer also. So you can purchase this Home Edition, Pro Edition from retailer, and you can get it for single machine, for single device. You will get the key, you will get the installation key for single device. That means once you install it on one device, use it the key, then you can't use it the same key on any other device. But this one, Enterprise, it is available for volume licensing. Volume licensing, that means you will get a single key for multiple operating systems, multiple devices. This is important because in large organizations or large enterprises, you may have large number of machines. It is not like single machines. For example, suppose if you are in an enterprise, you are having 200 machines. Now on 200 machines you have to install this Windows 10, and suppose you are using, you want to use Windows 10 Pro, and it is available by using single key. Now for 200 machines you have to install 200 Windows 10, and for each operating system, for each device, you need one key. That means you have to manage 200 different keys. You have to manage 200 different keys for 200 devices, and you have to remember which key you have used for which devices. So it can be very difficult for the administrator to manage 200 keys or multiple hundreds of keys for each and every devices single, and that is why in enterprise versions we get this volume licensing. Now here what you will get single key for multiple devices. That means you want to install 200 machines, 200 devices, this Windows 10 you want to install on 200 devices, then you will get the volume license. That means you will get the key for 200, a single key for 200 devices. Then you don't have to manage 200 keys, you have to manage only one license key, and you will use one license key for installing all those 200 devices. So it will make thing easy for administrators to manage. And in organizations, in enterprise organizations, what they do, the administrators do what, they install the installation server. They use the installation server to install all these machines. So they don't have to go to every machine to install single or one-to-one. They just do what, they use a server, installation server, deployment server, and on that deployment server they deploy all the 200 machines, and the key also they deploy it from that Windows server. So that is why you get this enterprise version with the volume licensing, and that means what, you will not get it from the normal retail. Like you will not get it only one key, you will always get what, volume license. Then you have the next version of Windows 10, the next edition of Windows 10 is Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB. Now LTSB is long term service base. Now this is same as Enterprise. This is not having any much difference on Windows 10 Enterprise and this one. Both are same. This is also for large enterprises, and this is also only available to volume licensing customer. This is also available by the volume licensing, and the features are also same as Windows Enterprise, Windows 10 Enterprise. Now what is this LTSB? It is actually long-term license base, long-term service base. Now that means what, it actually does not get updates. Windows 10 get updates every time and time. And updates do what? It changes and updated the new features and new security features, uh, new features and functionality it adds into Windows 10. Now in an organizations, if they want, they use some Windows, they use it and they don't want to change it. Sometimes they just don't want to update it. So on that kind of situation, they use this LTSB, which is not updated. It is actually not updated. It will not get updated. This home edition, pro edition, and then enterprise edition will get updated time and time, but this LTSB will not get any update. That is the only difference between this enterprise and enterprise LTSB. Then you have Windows 10 Education Edition. It is for school staff, administrators, teachers and students, and this is also only available through academic volume licensing. This is to use for education purpose. In some organizations you will get the laptop or tablets from the organizations to with their academic things, like their stuffs, their academic, their lectures, their courses and all that. So they made it with this Windows 10 Education Edition. Then you have Windows 10 Mobile. This is for small users for smaller mobile touch-centric devices such as smartphone and small tablets. And this is also available for everybody. So when you get Windows Mobile, you will get Windows 10 Mobile operating system in that Windows 10 Mobile or tablet. Then you have Windows 10 Mobile Enterprise also. This is for business customers on smartphone and small tablets. So the users who is using smartphones and small tablets, if they want to use it as they want to get the enterprise features on those smartphones on tablets, then they can use Windows 10 Mobile Enterprise. Now again, Windows 10 Enterprise is also available only from Windows volume licensing. So these are the additions we have. So just I said, first Windows 10 Home. Now we have seen what new features we have in Windows 10. Now what is new feature we have in this Windows 10 Home? What are the features available in this Windows 10 Home? So first, this Windows 10 Home is the consumer oriented desktop edition of Windows 10, and it offers the familiar Windows experience for PC tablets and the new hybrid laptop tablets. Hybrid laptop tablets, that laptops or tablets which has the touch screen. It also we can use it like a tablet, also we can use it as a laptop. So this is for that kind of devices. Windows 10 Home includes several new features. So in Windows 10, what you will get in Home Edition, from that new features, you will get Cortana, you will get Microsoft Edge, you will get Continue, that is to switch between tablet and touch devices, mobile mode, tablet mode on desktop mode. Then you get Windows Hello. This is the sign-in feature, which is updated sign-in feature which you can use to sign in your device by using the physical thing, like touch your fingerprint scanner. You can use face detection. Then you have virtual desktops. This is what multiple desktops we can use. It is also called virtual desktops. Then you will get photos, maps, mail, calendar, music and video, and other built-in universal Windows apps. These are Windows Universal Apps. This is UWP, UW platform apps, and these apps are inbuilt in our Windows 10 Home Edition. And new updates and features received automatically. Now this is important. In Windows 10 Home Edition, you will always get the update first. Whenever you see new feature and update comes, it directly updated in Windows 10 Home. And you will see most of the updates are there, and it comes very quickly. In Windows 10 Home Edition, updates are coming very quickly and quickly. Sometimes it gets irritated. but it updates very quickly. Now in Windows 10 Pro, this Windows 10 Pro builds on the features of Windows 10 Home. Now Windows 10 Home, that means all the features which we have in Windows 10 Home, all these features, Cortana, Edge, Virtual Desktop, these applications and these all things. So everything will be there in Windows 10 Pro. Those all things will be there in Windows 10 Pro. Now you will get some extra feature to meet the needs of a small and medium sized businesses. Now in Pro, because it can be used on a small organization, so it gives you some advanced feature, extra features which can be useful in medium sized businesses. So Windows 10 Pro is also suitable for advanced consumers who are looking for features such as BitLocker and virtualization. And Windows 10 Pro provides the following additional features. Additional, that means apart from Windows 10 Home Edition features, what we get these features. So apart from that, advanced features, what additional features we get in Windows 10 Pro. So in Pro we will get domain joining and centralized management with group policy. So this is for the businesses, this is for the organization feature, which is you can join your Windows 10 Pro to a domain, and by joining this to the domain you can manage it centralizedly by using the group policy from the server. So this is very important feature for any organization. Then you will get BitLocker also. Now BitLocker is not available in Windows 10 Home Edition. This gives you a improved security to secure your data, to encrypt your data. Then enterprise mode Internet Explorer, you will get the Internet Explorer which having some enterprise mode also. Now remember, it is Internet Explorer, it is not Microsoft Edge. In Windows 10 is still we are having Internet Explorer like Windows 7, Windows 8 or Windows XP. But this one is improved, this one is advanced, and it is having more features than previous versions of Windows. Then you will get in Pro Edition, you will get Client Hyper-V. Client Hyper-V, that means where you can create virtual machines. You can create virtual machines, but this is what the client version of Hyper-V, because this Windows 10 is a client operating system. So you will not get server operating system more features of like server we have in server operating system. So Client Hyper-V you will get it from Windows Pro, and that is also not available in Home Edition. Then you will get Microsoft Azure Active Directory joining. Just like you join it to the local domain, you can also join it to the cloud domain. This Microsoft Azure Active Directory is actually like a cloud Active Directory, cloud domain. So you can use it, you can join your Windows 10 Pro Edition to this Microsoft Azure Active Directory which is on cloud. Then you can use Windows Store for organizing. Windows Store, where you can download and install different applications of Windows. Different applications you can download and install, these universal applications, normal applications and all. You can download and install. You can update, you can install updates also for those applications. So you can get all those applications from this Windows Store. It is still available in Windows Home Edition, but here you will get for some organization features. You will get some organization feature also, like you can create your own application and you can distribute that application through this Windows Store from the domain. That is, you can have it on domain. Then you have enterprise data protection feature also available when you this is also for enterprise users, where you get join the domain. Remember, these enterprise features you will only get to use when you are in the domain. When you join the domain, then you can use those enterprise kind of features. Then finally you will get enterprise version. Now enterprise version, this Windows 10 enterprise version builds on the features of Windows 10 Pro. Now when I say Windows 10 Pro builds on the features of Windows 10 Pro, that means it is having all the features of Windows 10 Home and all the features of Windows 10 Pro, and with additional features that meets the needs of large enterprises. So Windows 10 Enterprise is available to volume licensing customers only. Now volume license customers only, and it is only available for volume licensing. It is not available for single license key. And they can choose to pace at which they adopt new technology, including the options to use the new Windows update for business. Now in Windows 10 Enterprise, you can get the control of updates. That means if you like to not have an update for particular time, then you can fix that. You can configure that you don't want to have update for some particular time. That will not available in Windows Home Edition. You have to get update. Whenever you get the update, you have to update it. And Windows 10 Enterprise also gives customers access to the long-term servicing branch, that is LTSB, as a special deployment option for their mission critical devices and environments. And what is LTSB? It is actually not getting the updates. Now Windows 10 Enterprise provides the following additional features. Now when I say additional features, that means all the features of Windows Home and Pro is already there. Now these advanced and additional features we are having in Windows Enterprise, which gives you option to use it in a large enterprises. First you will get the direct access. Now direct access you will get when you are in the enterprise, when you are joined into the domain. And when you do the domain, then you will know what is direct access. Now direct access is actually joining your device in your domain to use the resources of your domain from anywhere. That means from enterprise, from internet, from your home, from anywhere. Like suppose you are in the organization, you will join into your domain, you are into the domain, you can use the resources of your domain. But when you go outside of your domain, that means when you go outside of your building of your organization, you go to your home, then you will still be joined to your domain. You can still use your resources of your domain by connecting it from the internet, and that will be done done automatically when you have configured this direct access. So this direct access, we configure it on Windows Enterprise versions. Windows Enterprise we configured in Windows domain to connect the devices automatically to Windows domain environment anywhere from the network, local network or from internet. So this feature is available in Enterprise version. Then you have Windows 2 Go Creator. Windows 2 Go Creator do what? It creates a flash install Windows version of runnable Windows, like live Windows, in a flash. That means you can create a flash. In a flash you can install the Windows 10 and you can connect that flash anywhere in the device and you can run it from the flash. You don't have to install it in your device. You can run your Windows 10 from the flash, and that you can create by using this Windows 2 Go Creator. It will help you to create a flash which you can use to run the Windows from the flash. Then you have App Locker. This App Locker gives you option to manage your applications, like which application is to be run or not to be run. You can manage it from here, this App Locker. You can control your applications and you can control even who can run these applications. Then you have Windows Branch Cache. This is for your share files, share folders, share files. You can cache those files and folders to your local machines, to your client machine, to your Windows 10 machine from the server, from the file server. This is to caching the share files from the file server. Then you have start screen control with group policy. You can control your start screen from the group policy. Now from the group policy you have to join the domain. You can join the domain. When you join the domain, then you can control your device from the domain controller by using the group policy, and even you can control your start screen. Then you have credential guard, device guard. These are to secure your credentials and your devices in your Windows 10 Enterprise operating system. Then you have Microsoft Application Virtualization, App V it is called. It is also used in enterprise to share the application from the server. You can share the application from the server and virtually you can use it on your this Windows 10 Enterprise. It is not installed in your machine, it will be installed on server, but still you can use it on your Windows 10. It is like virtual application. Then you can use Microsoft User Experience Virtualization, UEV also. This is also for virtualization. And these all things we can use from the virtualization server. Now these are the enterprise features we have in Windows 10 Enterprise. But remember, you still have all those features which is on Home and Pro. Now what is this Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB? Now Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB is a special edition of Windows 10 Enterprise that Microsoft will not update with any new feature. Remember what I said, it will not get any update of new features. Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB only gets security updates and other improvement updates. You can install Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB to devices that run in a known environment that does not change. The difference between Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB and Windows 10 Enterprise includes that Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB does not receive feature updates, does not contain the Microsoft Edge browser, then does not have Windows 10 Store, that is not there, then does not have Cortana, and many built-in universal Windows apps are missing. So it will not have those Windows 10 built-in apps like Photos, browse Photos, calendar and all that. And it is not have Cortana, it does not have Windows Store, it does not have any Windows Microsoft Edge, and also it is not getting any feature updates. Basically we use it for a same kind of environment or known environment which is not changed. For example, suppose what happened in an enterprises, they do what, they create their own applications, their own application to work. Now some of their applications, suppose they want to have a same environment, that means they don't want to change a base operating system, they just want to have it as it is. Sometime what happens, some new feature updates do what, they improve something, they change something, like suppose .NET framework or suppose some software libraries. So whenever some feature update comes, they change some features or they change some library files, say updates library files or other things. So these changes can impact their applications. So the applications which they made for their organization may stop working. So they just don't want to do that. They just want to have the same kind of application which is not having any changes, which is not having any updates. They change features which changes the feature. So they just want to use that application for a long time. So they just don't want to have any update. And they just don't want Windows Store app also, because Windows Store app also get what, update. It can also update some of the applications. So they just don't want to update anything. So they just want to keep it as it is. So in that kind of environment or that kind of situation, it uses Windows 10 Enterprise LTSB version. Then Windows 10 Education. This offers the same feature as Windows 10 Enterprise except for LTSB. It does not have LTSB. And this edition of Windows 10 is suitable for school staffs, administrators, teachers and students. And Windows 10 edition is only available through academic volume licensing. This is for academic use, where these academic organizations, these school staffs or universities do what? They create their their program, their study material, their programs, and they all that they can install it, those applications. They can provide those applications to users by using this Windows 10 education version. They can control those devices which they are giving to these students. Then we have Windows 10 Mobile Edition. Now this Windows 10 Mobile is for smaller mobile touch centric devices such as a smartphone and small tablets, and it offers the same new universal Windows apps that Windows 10 Home includes. So same apps, that means it looks like same as Windows 10 Home, and in addition a new touch optimized versions of Microsoft Office. Touch optimized version of Microsoft Office, that means we can use it on touch screen and we can use by touch. Now on new devices, Windows 10 Mobile can take advantage of Continuum for phone, and so you can use the phone like a PC when it is connected to a monitor with the large screen resolution. And Windows 10 Mobile runs universal apps only, so you cannot run desktop apps. Now with the Continuum you can do what? You can switch between tablet mode and desktop mode. So you can use your mobile device to connect to the large screen, and you can use it like a PC. You can use it like a desktop. You can just switch the mode from tablet mode to desktop mode, and you can use it like a desktop. But remember, it will not install the desktop applications which is only for desktop, which is not available for universal use. So mobile version only uses the universal apps. It will not use desktop apps. So even you connect it on the large screen, you try to use it as a Windows PC, you can use it as a desktop, but still you can't use it the desktop applications. Then you have Windows 10 Enterprise. This Windows 10 Enterprise, Mobile Enterprise, is for business customers on smartphone and small tablets, and it is only available to volume licensing customers. And Windows 10 Mobile Enterprise provides business with flexible ways of managing updates. And in addition, Windows 10 Mobile Enterprise gives faster access to the latest security updates and provides access to the latest innovation from Microsoft on ongoing basis. So whenever some latest features and security update comes, it comes to this Mobile Enterprise, and it gives the enterprise features to mobile. Then we have one more thing which is called Windows 10 edition of IoT. This IoT means Internet of Things. So there are also 3 editions for this Internet of Things, IoT. First, Windows 10 IoT Core. This is suitable for small devices such as robots, toy cars and sensors. You have seen some toys, toy cars, some sensors, robots which has some smart features. So on those we can use this Windows 10 version of IoT version of Core. Then you have Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, and that is suitable for devices such as automated teller machine, ATMs and industrial robots. Then Windows 10 IoT Mobile is suitable for handheld terminals and automobiles. So these are the additions we have in Windows 10. Now requirements for installing Windows 10. Now Windows 10 is capable of running on similar hardware to the hardware that Windows 7 can run on. So it is we can use the same hardware like which we have used for Windows 7. So we can update, like we can upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 also for the same hardware. But many computers today easily meet the minimum hardware requirement for Windows 10. So any new device which you have, any new computer, laptop you get, that will easily meet the minimal requirement for the Windows 10. Now I said minimum and recommended is different thing. Now what is hardware requirement first? So the following is the minimum recommended hardware requirement for Windows 10. Windows 10 will install if some of these requirements are not met, but however user experience and operating system performance might be compromised, and if the computer does not meet or exceed the following specification. So even if you don't meet the minimum requirement of like these, still your Windows 10 will install but will not able to give you a good performance. So this is what the minimum requirement. Remember, minimum recommended. It is just for installing, and if you want to use it properly, then you should get more than this. So what is this? First, processor. You need a processor at least 1 gigahertz or faster, or SoC. Then RAM, you should have at least 1 GB, and that is for 32-bit of operating system, and 2 GB for 64-bit. So if you are installing 32-bit operating system, then at least you need 1 GB of RAM, and if you are installing 64-bit, then you need at least 2 GB. Then hard disk, 16 GB for 32-bit and 20 GB for 64-bit. This is minimum recommended. If you want to use for more applications, then you need more hard disk space. Remember, this is only for installing operating system, not for other applications or storing data. So when you install your operating system, it is sufficient to have 16 GB for 32-bit and 20 GB for 64-bit. Then graphic card. Now graphic DirectX 9 or newer with WDDM 1.0 driver. Now with this driver is the graphic card is required. Now graphic card with this driver is actually your inbuilt driver, inbuilt graphic card on the motherboard is sufficient with these drivers. So basically your inbuilt motherboard inbuilt graphic is enough for the installation. But if you want to have more graphics, you want to install some applications which is using more graphics, then you have to have extra graphic cards. Display 800 by 600 pixel resolution can be enough, but it also what it gives, it does not look good. Remember, it is minimum requirement. It is minimum for you for Windows 10. Now requirement for specific Windows features. Now as I said that if you have not met the minimum requirement, some of the requirement, then still you can install, but you will not get some features. Now what are that requirement for some specific features? So Windows 10 offers additional features if the correct hardware is present, and the following list presents some of the hardware and software requirement for various additional features. First, Windows specific requirements. So feature specific requirement. First, Windows Hello. Now if you want to use this advanced feature Windows Hello, then it requires the biometric hardware. Biometric hardware, that means this Windows Hello is for the advanced signing option. So you need biometric hardware, like if you can use your fingerprint to log in. Now for that you need your fingerprint sensor in your device, in your machine. If you don't have fingerprint sensor, then it will not be installed, it will not be able to use this Windows Hello feature. If you want to log in with your face detection, so normal webcam will not be enough. If you are having a if you are having a camera in your laptop, if you are having a webcam in your laptop, but still it is not enough. You need to have a depth 3D depth sensor of that camera to use that face detection for logging. So you need that biometric hardware for your Windows Hello. Then for secure boot requires firmware that supports UEFI boot. Now nowadays all the devices, all the laptops or desktops comes with this UEFI. It is very rare you find some device which is not having this firmware support for UEFI. It is unified extended. So it is very rare when you find this without this, but nowadays we have this. So you can use this secure boot feature. Secure boot, that means at the booting time your machine will be secure by bugs and viruses. Any viruses or we can say Trojanware cannot manipulate your boot. Then BitLocker requires TPM or a USB flash drive. It requires TPM to store the key, store the BitLocker encryption key. So without this TPM you cannot able to encrypt, you cannot able to use BitLocker on your C drive. Remember, on your system drive you can still use it on another drives, but you cannot use it on system drive. For that, even you can use USB flash drive also. If you are not having TPM, then you can use USB flash drive. If you don't have both, then you cannot use BitLocker on your system drive. Then client Hyper-V. So Hyper-V is there, client Hyper-V is there. The feature is available not on Home Edition, but in Pro and Enterprise Edition it is there. But it still need 64-bit system with second level address translation capabilities and an additional 2 GB of RAM. That means it needs 64-bit system. So 64-bit system needs 2 GB RAM. Then additional 2 GB RAM you need for client Hyper-V. Now additional 2 GB RAM allows you to install only one more virtual machine. If you want more virtual machines to be installed, then you need more RAMs for that. Now second level address translation capabilities, that is for your processor. So your processor must support virtualization, otherwise you are not able to use client Hyper-V. So these are some features which is hardware specific. So without the specific hardware you cannot use those features. Next, installing Windows 10. Now we have a features, we have a minimum requirement or recommended requirement. Then we can go for installation. The process of installing a Windows 10 operating system is similar today than it was in the past. So it is same as today like in Windows 10, and it was same as the past like in Windows 8 or Vista, or we can say Windows 7. But it is not same as Windows XP. So if you have used Windows XP and you have installed Windows XP and you directly now you are installing Windows 10, then it is not that same. It is very much different. But if you have installed Windows 7, Windows Vista or Windows 8, then it is similar. So the person who performs the installation has fewer decisions to make. In Windows, same as Windows 7 and 8 and Windows Vista also, you don't have to take more decisions here for installing the system. And however those decisions are critical to the success of the deployment, a typical manual installation of Windows 10 involves performing the following procedure, which I am going to show you. Now, in previous versions it was same. in Windows Vista, it was same in Windows 7 and Windows 8 also. But if you have seen Windows XP installation, it is different, and you have to take lots of decisions on that at the time of installation. Now they have changed everything. Now you just have to start the installation with just selecting 2-3 features, 2-3 options, 3-4 options, and then your installation will start. And when it is finished, after finishing the installation, then you have to do the other configurations. And in Windows XP, you have to do all the configuration with the installation, which is now changed. Now, first what we do, we have to decide like how we have to install. We have to install by connecting the DVD or by using the USB drive or flash drive. So first connect the installation source. Options for these are: insert the DVD containing the Windows 10 installation file and then boot from the DVD. So first you have option to select install from the DVD. So if you are having an installation DVD, so insert your DVD into the DVD drive and then boot from the DVD. Now how you will do that? For that you have to go to the BIOS setting and then you have to select the first boot device as a CDVD, as a boot sequence, in a boot sequence, and then you will boot from the DVD. Now if you are using the USB drive, then connect your specially prepared USB drive that hosts the Windows 10 installation files. Now for using the USB drive, you have to first create the USB drive to use, and then you can use it. So you have to prepare your USB drive first, the which you can use. So connect your USB drive and then boot from that USB drive. That is also you can select from the BIOS setting. You have to select removable drive from the BIOS setting. Third option, you have to perform it from the PXE boot and then connect the Windows Deployment Services server. So if you want to install it in organization where you have multiple installation, then you can install it from the centralized server, which is called Windows Deployment Server. So you have to create the Windows Deployment Server and then you can start the installation from network. And for installing the Windows 10 from the network, your Windows 10 device must support PXE boot. That means your LAN card of your device must support the PXE boot, which is normally all the machine supports nowadays. So you can boot from the network with the help of this PXE boot. So you boot from the network and it will boot from the network and it will boot from this Windows Deployment Server, and then it will install the operating system from the Windows Deployment Server. So whatever option you want, you can select it from there, and when you boot from the DVD, USB or PXE boot, this is the first screen you will see. So this is the first screen you will see, where you have to select the installation language, you have to select the time zone, and you have to select your keyboard, layout of your keyboard. So you will select the language which you understand. You have multiple languages. Then you have to select the time zone, currency format, time zone, whatever the time zone you are in, and then you have to select the keyboard layout. Now keyboard layout is important to select. You have to know what is the layout of your keyboard. You have keyboard layout of US, you have keyboard layout of UK. Now you have different other also. Now remember, if you select wrong keyboard layout, then what happens? Your keys will misplace. That means in your keyboard you press some key but it will do something else if you choose the wrong keyboard layout. Suppose my keyboard layout is US and I select keyboard layout as UK, then what happens? Some keys will misplace. This QWERTY key will remain same, like QWERT, it will remain same, but these special keys will change. Like if suppose I try to press @ it will type something else. If I want to type colon, it will type something else. So some keys will misplace. So you have to choose the right keyboard layout when you are installing, and then you will press next. Now let's see how you will do this. Okay, so for installing Windows 10, I'm going to use this VMware workstation. Now you can use it to install it in your real system. Real system, that means your real machine. Now what I'm going to do here is to create the virtual machine. Virtual machine, that means the machines will be virtual, the hardware will be virtual, but the operating system which we installed on this virtual machine will be real. So this VMware workstation gives us option to create a virtual machine where we can install the real operating system, and we can use this virtual machine as a real machine. So I can do it on the real machine also, but I'm going to use this workstation, VMware workstation, to install this Windows 10. So for installing the Windows 10, I'm going to create the machine here. I'm going to create the virtual machine first, and then on that virtual machine I'm going to install the Windows 10. So first you have to install this VMware workstation on your system. After installing this VMware workstation, when you run this VMware workstation, then it will open like this. This is your home tab, where you will see some feature like creating the new machine, opening the virtual machine, or connecting to the remote server. So if you want to create the new machine, you can create it from here, and if you have already created, then you can open it from here. And also you can connect to the server, VMware server. Now we don't have VMware server, so I'm not going to connect it. Now I want to just create the new machine for Windows 10. So I can create it from here. Now if you are not having this Windows 10 home tab, then you can click on this file and you will get the option to create new virtual machine from here. Or you can press the shortcut key Control N. So you can create new machine from here, or from file from here. Now when you select this, it opens this wizard to create new virtual machine. It says welcome to the new virtual machine wizard. You want to go for typical or custom. Now custom is for advanced and typical is for the recommended creation. Now it is for just quickly creating the virtual machine. Advanced features gives us some more feature than this typical, some 2-3 extra features, but it is same as this typical. So I will go with the typical, which is recommended. So I will go and next. Now when I select next, now it asks me that where you want to install. Now what will be the source for your installation. So you can install it from the DVD, physical DVD of your real machine. Like in my machine, if I have a DVD, then I will insert the DVD into my real machine, DVD drive of my real machine, and then I will select this option. I don't have any DVD, so I cannot use DVD because I am not having actually DVD drive in my system. So other option, we have the ISO image. We can select the ISO image also. ISO image, that means if we are having an image of our DVD, installation DVD of Windows 10, which we can have or we can create from the physical DVD, or we can download it from online. So when you download it from online, you will get the ISO image. So you can use that ISO image for installing your Windows 10 by using this ISO image option. You have to select the ISO image option, and then you can browse. You have to browse where your image is. My image is here. So you can select the image, and then you can go next and you can install. So if you have DVD, physical DVD available, then you can select this and insert the DVD and select it from here. or if you are not having a DVD, you are having an image, ISO image, then you can select this and browse the image from here. Now these two options will do what? It will automatically install your operating system. But we want to see how we can install. We want to see the installation method. So in this screen, remember, when you create your machine, don't select either of these options. Select I will install the operating system later. So that we will create the machine first, and then we configure the machine according to our requirement, and we will select, then we can install. We after that we can select that how we can install, how we want to install. We want to install it from disk or we want to install it from image. So this option we will select later. So when you are creating the machine, always select I will install the operating system later. Now next, now here it supports these different operating systems. Now suppose these different operating system means what? It provides the virtual hardware for these different operating system. But after creating the machine, we have to install the operating system. It will not give you the operating system, it will just provide you with the recommended virtual hardware. Now when I select Windows, Microsoft Windows, I will get these multiple options to select from. So it can install all these different type of Windows. If I select Linux, so we have different versions of Linux also choose from. And this is VMware server, ESXi server. And also if your operating system is not in the list, then you can go for others. Now we want to install Windows 10, so I will select Microsoft Windows, and in the drop down list I will select Windows 10 or Windows 10 64-bit. Now remember, Windows 10 normally is 32-bit and this one is 64-bit. So depending on your machine, if your machine supports 64-bit, you will select 64-bit, and if your machine does not support 64-bit, then you will select 32-bit. So I'll go with 64-bit. Then you will select next. Now here it is to just name your virtual machine. Name your virtual machine, that means if you are creating multiple virtual machines, then what will be the name for this virtual machine? It is for your identification among multiple machines you create. So I'll go with the normal name. I say Windows 10. This is my Windows 10, or I will make it short. Okay, this is my Windows 10. Now after the name, you will see here location where you want to store this virtual machine. By default it goes into C drive, into the document folder. There is a virtual machine folder, and in that it will create the name of the folder, machine name folder, and that it will put all the files of this virtual machine. Right now there is no file, no folder is there, but after we create the virtual machine, it will store all the configuration file for that virtual machine in this directory. Now you can put it anywhere you want, you can browse it, and you can select any other folder if you don't want to install it on C drive. I will go with this C drive. You can select any other folder. Now here it is asking for your hard disk size. Hard disk size, that means remember you are going to store it in Windows C drive, in your C drive. So you or any other drive, then you have to make sure that you are having the space, enough space for this. Now if I select, by default it is recommended, it is 60 GB. This is recommended, this is not minimum recommended. Minimum recommended is for 64-bit, it is 20 GB. So it is going to use 20 GB till 20 GB. Now you need to have a space on your physical, in your real machine C drive. Now you don't have to have 60 GB available. If you are not having a 60 GB, let me add 100 GB here. So I am going for 100 GB. Now that means what? In my C drive I need what? 100 GB, because this machine is going to be created under the C drive. But it is not like that. It is a dynamic, it will use as a dynamic space. That means it will use only the space which is required. In my C drive I don't have 100 GB free available. I am having only 20, I am having only 50 GB available. But still I can use it, I can create it with 100 GB, because it is a dynamic. So it is not going to use the full 100 GB from my C drive right now. It is going to use only which is required. And when we install or when we store any data into that virtual machine, then it will increase and it will start using my C drive. So it does not matter whatever the size you have in your C drive, you can give any size. But still, if you want to install the operating system, install data application in that virtual machine, then you need to have a drive space in your drive where you are storing this virtual machine. Now these two options says that split the virtual disk into multiple file or store the virtual disk into a single file. That means the file which is creating when you create this hard disk, virtual hard disk, it is creating as a file in that folder. So it is going to create the file for the hard disk. But if you select this option, it will split into multiple files. Now splitting the file into multiple will be make easier to move the virtual machine to another computer. So if suppose you want to move this virtual disk from one machine to other machine, then it will be easy for you if you are having a split virtual disk. So it will be split into small sizes. Like suppose this is 100 GB, so it will be small, it will be split it into 2 GB of files. So you can easily move a file from one computer to other computer, 2 GB, 2 GB, 2 GB, one by one you can move it. You can copy from one machine to other machine. But if I select single file, then it will create a single file of this size of the hard disk. So it is not that easy to move, because your flash drive only support 4 GB size of single file. It will not support more than 4 GB size. So if you like to move your machine from one machine to other machine, then you will use split or you will use store into a single file. Then next, and now done. Now you are having option to finish, and this is what the summary you have choose. You have selected, this is the name, you have selected the location, this is the workstation version of VMware, this is the operating system we have selected, this is the size of hard disk we have given, this is the RAM, it has been given, this RAM is given by default, it is actually recommended RAM, we have not selected this. This is the network option, this is other device option, CPU core, 2 CPU cores, DVD, USB controller and sound and other options. So these are recommended option, it is given by automatically, but you can change these options also after finishing. So okay, first I will finish it. And now this is my virtual machine name Win10, and you can see this is the hardware of this virtual machine. This is recommended hardware it has given, but if you like then you can change it also. So if you want to change this hardware, then you can select edit virtual machine. Now remember, we have not selected the installation source, like where we want to install. We want to install it from DVD, we want to install it from ISO image, and that is what it is going to, we can select it from here. You can see CD DVD, it is saying auto detect. So auto detect, it means that it will going to detect it from your real DVD drive. So if you are having a real DVD drive and your DVD there, then it will automatically detect. But we want to change it because I am having ISO image, so I have to change it to select the ISO image for installation. So I will go for edit the virtual machine here. And I can change all these options, just like RAM. If I select RAM here, I can see the RAM option here. Right now it is 2 GB which is recommended. If I want more than 2 GB, then I can go for more than 2 GB, and I can go till, I can see here maximum recommended is for 6.1 GB for me, because my real RAM is 8 GB. I cannot go for all 8 GB, but I can go up to 6.1 GB. This is for the minimum recommended, it is 1 GB, this is recommended, and this is what you can go maximum up to 6. So I'm going for 4 GB so that it will work properly. Then you can change processor option, you can go for hard disk, you can still increase the size of hard disk, and this is for your CD DVD. So right now it is going to detect it from the physical drive, but I don't have a physical drive DVD, so I'm going for ISO image now. So I'm going to select ISO image, and I'm going to browse and select the Windows 10 image which I have and open. So this is what I did. I increased the RAM and I also select the ISO image for installing. This is like you're adding the DVD into your DVD drive in your real machine. Adding this ISO image into virtual machine is like adding the DVD, inserting the DVD drive into your real machine. And I will press OK. So this is our virtual machine. This is virtual hardware for it, and virtual hardware it is actually going to use it from my real machine. So if I'm giving 4 GB RAM, that means I'm having more than 4 GB RAM in my real machine, and 2 core of processor, that means I'm having more than that 2 core in my real machine. So it is going to use it from the real machine, and this is the hardware which I have. And now what I can do, I can do the installation by starting the machine from here. This is power on this virtual machine. To start the virtual machine, you can start it from here, you can start it from here, this is the option, or you can select this VM and you can go for power option and you can start up the guest option. So you can start the virtual machine now and you can begin the installation. Now I will show you. First you have to select first boot device from the BIOS setting. Now this is virtual machine, but it works like a real machine, so it has also a BIOS setting, and also you can go and change the BIOS setting also. Now to go to the BIOS, you have to press F2 here. In this virtual machine, when you start the virtual machine, you have to very quickly press F2 key to go to BIOS of this virtual machine, and then you can select the BIOS settings like your real machine. Now once this machine is running, you just forget about this, like this is virtual. You can assume it like a real machine. So let's see. I will start the machine and I will go to the BIOS. So very quickly I press the F2 key, and right now I am in the boot manager BIOS. Now here RAM will, the mouse will not work. If you see, the mouse is not showing here. I can use this keyboard arrow key to change these settings, because in this BIOS setting you will not have a mouse, so mouse will not work. Now if you want to get your mouse, then you have to press Alt Control. When you press Alt Control, your mouse will back and you are into your real machine. I say finish the installation. I have done. So when you press Control Alt, then your mouse is back into your real machine. Now this virtual machine is not working. It is not, because we are into real machine. Now if you want to go back to your this virtual machine, then you can click inside the virtual machine to get control into that real machine, virtual machine, or you can press here Control G to go into the virtual machine, or you just simply click inside it and then your virtual machine, you are into the virtual machine. And to come out of this virtual machine, you can press Ctrl Alt, and from here you can make it full screen. Now once you make it full screen, then you can forget about this virtual machine, that this is virtual machine. You can assume it like a real machine. So I am making it full screen here. Now you can take it as a real machine. Still, if you want to use your real machine, press Alt Control, your mouse will back, and then you can drag your mouse up and you can see these options here, and this is to go out of full screen mode. And when you remove your mouse from there, these options will hide. Now when you go there, it shows up. Now if you want to see keep seeing this, then you can pin this option, so it will remain there. And if you don't want to do that, then you will just unpin it and it will hide, it will automatically hide. Now you can even press Alt Control Enter to go from full screen to normal. Alt Control Enter, Alt Control Enter. Now once you are into the virtual machine, you can go to the setup, enter the setup, then you can select configure the boot option. You can change the boot order, and you can change what boot order you want. So I want to boot from CD DVD, so I select the CD DVD and I press plus symbol, plus button. You see minus to go down, and to make it up, press plus and enter. So I selected what DVD drive as a first boot device, and then commit changes and exit. That means save the changes and exit, or discard the changes or exit. Commit changes and exit. So commit changes, save the changes and exit. The machine will reboot, and then it will detect the DVD, detect the ISO from that DVD. In real machine, we can say like it is detecting the DVD from the DVD drive, and it will give you the option to boot from the DVD. It will give you the option, it will say press any key to boot from that DVD. So you have to quickly press enter button to start the boot. If you don't select, if you don't press any key, if you don't press enter, then what it will do, it will not start the installation. It will just try to start the already installed operating system, which is not there, because this is the new machine, so there is no operating system installed, so it is not going to detect any operating system. So it gives us the option to start the operating system or start the installation when you save these changes. Now see, when it reboots, save. Now I will say exit from the boot manager, then I will say reset the system. Now it says press any key to boot from CD DVD. Now I did not press anything. Now it is going to check the removable drive, and now it is going to check the network. It is trying to boot from network because I have not pressed any key. Now if I don't press any key, then what? It will not boot because I don't have any installation available, because this is the new machine. So if I want to install the system, then I have to restart again. Now to restart, we have to press Alt Control Insert key. In real machine you will press Alt Control Delete, but for this virtual machine you will press Alt Control Insert. Now this time I will press enter. Now when it says press any key to boot from the DVD, I press enter, and it has started the installation from the DVD. So this is how we start the installation of Windows 10. Now this is same as Windows 8 or Windows 7 also. If you have done the installation on Windows 7 or Windows 8, it is the same thing. And this is what this is the first screen you have. And here you have to select your language, time and keyboard input. Now it will not ask much options here, so very easily it will ask very simple options, and you can just start the installation. So the first option you will select is the language option. So languages, you have option to select what language you want. Now I have downloaded this ISO image for the English language, so it is only giving me English language. If I have downloaded for the multiple languages, then it will go and show me the multiple languages option here. Right now it is showing me only one language. Then time and currency, so you can select what time and currency you are in. So time and currency, that means it is the time zone. So I'll go with English India. Then keyboard layout. Now keyboard layout, it supports, now this thing is important because you have to select whatever the keyboard layout you have in your machine. So my keyboard layout is US. So I'm going to select US keyboard layout. Remember to select the right keyboard layout, otherwise your keys will misplace. After selecting these options, you will press next. Now here it gives you option to install now, and one more option it gives you to repair your computer. Now repair your computer, if your computer is having some problem, so you can repair it from here. But right now we are not having any installation, so what we'll do install now. Now when you select install now, first it will ask for the key. Now first it is asking for the key of your product. That means if you have purchased your product, then what is the key? Now this is my Pro edition, so it is for everybody, and it is not for volume licensing, so it is asking for the single key. So the key, you will get it the product, and you will get the key with that product. So when you get the product, you will get the key also. So you will get the key, you press the key here, and then you press the next. Now if you don't have the key, so you can select this option, I don't have a product key. So it will give you 90 days for the trial period, like it will give you the trial period for it, and within that trial period you have to make sure that you purchase it, you have to get the key, otherwise it will stop working. So if you are having a key, then you paste the key here, and if you don't have, then you can go for I don't have a product key. You can add the product key later, but I have a key, so I'm going to add the key here. So I copy the key, and now I want to paste the key here in this virtual machine. So what I will do, I will go to this VM and edit, and I will select paste. So this is the key which I have, and then I will press next. Now it is giving you for the license terms, which you have to learn, you have to read, like whatever the license agreement is, and you have to accept it. Remember, if you don't accept, it is not allowing you to go next. It is not allowing you to install. So you have to accept it and then select next. Now you have two options to upgrade or custom. Now upgrade, that means if you are upgrading it from the Windows 8, Windows 7, like you are upgrading it from the previous version, then you can go for upgrade. And if you want to install the fresh installation, then you will go for custom. Right now we are going for the fresh installation, so I will go for custom. What is upgrade we will see. Now after that it will show you the disk, hard disk. Now you see it is showing hard disk of 100 GB, which we have configured for our virtual machine. Now here in this it is showing it like a real hard disk we have of 100 GB. Now it is asking you to create, if you want to create partition or not. So if you want to create partition, now why we create separate partition? If suppose we want to store the data, so we want to separate the system disk by using by creating the separate disk for data. So we want to create a separate drive for the data and separate drive for the system. So we can create separate partitions by using new. You can mention the size, and remember the size is in MB. So I say 50,000 MB. Now what it says, to ensure that all Windows features work correctly, Windows might create additional partition for system files. Remember, it will automatically create a new partitions for system drive. Now you see I created only this 50 GB partition, but additionally it created this 1 and 2 partition. This is for system. This is first 100 MB partition is for the system files, then second 16 MB partition is for the reserved master boot record. So these partition will always create whether you create any partition or not. If you don't create any partition, still it will create these system partitions. Now remaining space is this, so I can use this space also. So I created two partitions, one for installation, one for data, or I will delete all this. Or if I don't create any partition, if I press next directly, then it will do what? It will create a single 100 GB partition with that two additional partitions, system and MS reserve. So I'll go with this default, I don't create any partition. And that's it. Now it is going to be installed automatically. And after installing, we can do other configuration features. That is post installation task. So this is how it is simple to install now. Nowadays in Windows 10, it is very simple to do the installation with the very limited options to choose from. So this is how simple we can start the installation of Windows 10. Now after finishing the installation, we have to do the post installation task, that is to configure our Windows 10, and that we will see in next time.